We're live. Yeah. We're live on Tuesday, or as the ladies on X call it, TDDD with D's, not with T's.
Titty Day?
Tuesday, yeah. Yeah, that's when you get to see all the X hotties.
Really?
Not really. I mean, a couple of them, really, if you follow them,
Oh.
you know. Sometimes there's accounts that are...
You say X hotties.
X. No, I mean X, like the platform.
Oh, okay. So the name of the platform makes
It's confusing. It's very
confusing.
difficult.
You get on X, I look up at my browser, and I'm like, I'm looking at porn?
Right.
No,
yeah. It's just, then you go to switch to X again. You click the wrong tab and, you're at your porn.
I got to think that it was kind of just a fuck you, right?
It does look a little pornographic, and there is porn on it. So
Sure.
But, the subject of porn we'll get into another day because we have some interesting things to show everybody and you today, Ian. Who will Georgia Tech students choose? Trump or Kamala? And what happened at the Bitcoin conference a little over a month or so ago? We're going to be joined today by Jake Green from Liberty Libations, who was at both the asking and answering of the questions at the Bitcoin conference, or at Georgia Tech this weekend, and at the Bitcoin conference with me. And so he's gonna help explain some of what he saw, and if what they're telling us in the news about Trump and Kamala, if it lines up, and just I learned a lot about the Georgia Tech students this weekend, Jake. Welcome to the show, by the way, Jake.
Thank you. Appreciate the offer to come on the show, Binkley.
Yeah, thanks for helping this Saturday and coming to film some stuff down at Georgia Tech with me. It was really interesting. It was fresh off Georgia Tech's victory against Ian's alma mater, Florida State. So there were kids partying everywhere. They were on slip and slides. They were in bathing suits. They were hammered.
They were very hammered. Lots of alcohol. I'm surprised it wasn't alcohol instead of water down those slip and slides.
Yeah, the best way to get them to stop talking, I learned, is to say, "Have you been drinking?"
Every time it was foolproof.
Every time they stopped talking. Yes, yeah. So you could definitely tell which ones were under 21 when you asked that question. But what were your thoughts going around campus and talking to some of these students? I was surprised personally.
Yeah, it was. It was strange seeing how many people would say they can't talk politics, but they have no problem with most people's politics. It was strange seeing that and just feeling like they were all kind of self-censoring, even if they didn't actually need to. That was one of my biggest takeaways from it. It was strange because we got a few people to open up, but a lot of people wanted nothing to do with us.
Ian, yeah, I was thrown a bit by some of the reactions. I'm going to play about 6 minutes of the clips for you guys. Ian, what would you, if you had to guess, which way you think Tech students lean?
Extremely progressive.
Yeah. Well, let's find out if you're right. Jake, I think your mic, or maybe that's me. It seems like it might be a bit hot.
Bit hot. Let me turn it down a little bit.
There you go.
Is that better?
Right. Yes, that is much better. All right.
Sweet.
Okay, so I have about a package of 6 different.
Six-pack.
Yeah, 6-pack. The first questions are just Trump or Kamala. Who are you going to vote for? Who do you prefer? And then we had a variety of other questions that we asked them as well. Let me find that here. All right, here we go. And by the way, libertarians, you're going to meet a girl that you're going to fall in love with. Jake can vouch to me for that. On that, you're going to absolutely fall in love with this chick, and she is going to destroy the notion that there are not good-looking chicks and smart chicks at Georgia Tech. Because absolutely, that
Georgia
was
Tech's
proven.
got some of the smartest people, smartest kids in the country are going there.
Right, but you usually don't combine that with smoking good looks. But apparently you do.
That's true.
Apparently you do now. All right. I'm going to fire this up. This is me asking some Tech students, Trump or Kamala. Out here at beautiful Georgia Tech campus. Back in the day, I used to march up and down here stinging people left and right? You like Trump or Kamala?
I don't care.
I love Donald Trump and I love his policies on like consumerism and what he does with the economy.
Trump or Kamala?
I'm not trying to get political.
I like Trump because I agree with his economics. I like how the way he leads this country. He doesn't give a shit.
Trump or Kamala, sir?
I like Kamala Harris.
Kamala or Trump?
Kamala.
Dude, Kamala?
Kamala's a pussy. Trump. Trump.
I think both candidates suck, personally, but I would vote for the latter, if you know what I'm saying.
We know what he's saying.
No comment.
You know, like I love humans.
Every no comment is a Trump. Every single no comment is a Trump.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think
110%.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, but that was the robots that kept marching up. Oh, what he's saying.
No comment.
You know, like I love humans.
I love you. That's right around the corner from where you and I used to get drunk and run around, Brad.
That's right. Yeah, it's right down near Relapse. At one point, I saw 4 of those little robot carts that supposed to have food in them, and they were just all on the same sidewalk, like they were organizing.
That's so funny.
I hate.
Of course,
those
they're gonna have
robot
robots
cars.
outside Georgia Tech.
Of course.
It's so weird. It's so. Does it actually save us time or money or delivery fees?
They just can do it.
They couldn't get them open. These students couldn't get them open.
Trump because Kamala.
Kamala is like crazy.
Would you rather Trump or Kamala babysit your kid for a night? Or Joe Biden?
I need to strike fear into them, so probably Joe Biden.
Honestly, I don't know who I'm voting for.
Trump is my president.
You like Trump or Kamala? Or neither?
I don't really know.
You don't care?
Yeah.
Trump or Kamala Harris?
We're not really politics people. I know I'm not. But I hate Trump with a passion.
Yeah, why do you hate him?
I just think he's a retard. I also hate Kamala with a passion. I think she's a retard. And Biden was a retard. I'm probably going for Kamala just because
Yeah.
I think
The lesser of the retards.
she's the most likely to shut the fuck up and listen to what her cabinet has to say.
I heard they're going to turn the Oval Office into
That's
a
what's
kitchen. if
important
she's
to
like-
liberals.
I bet that shit. I bet
Right.
that
That's
food-
what's important to
that's
liberals.
you know, that was interesting that he said that.
But that's what's important to them.
Who else said that the other day? Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said he was
say
telling
that.
Bill Maher. He said she just needs to shut
Yeah.
the fuck up, and get elected. Don't
Just
do any
be-
interviews.
Just keep the machine going.
And I was like, holy cow, that's what that kid said that we were talking to.
And that's literally what they do with Biden. Like they don't let him speak unless
Yeah.
it's absolutely necessary. Like they don't want anybody who can actually have a brain or talk about the issues and fail to talk.
This guy was a trip here.
Yeah.
It's a welfare.
I bet that
war
shit.
machine.
I bet that
Yeah.
likely to shut the fuck up and listen to what her cabinet has to say.
I heard they're going to turn the Oval Office into a kitchen if she's elected.
I bet that shit. I bet that food be gas. What we need is a president who is just gonna roll with the tide and do absolutely nothing.
President
And
Nick
sit-
Saban, maybe, rolling on the side.
Hey, I would vote for Nick Saban. I swear to God.
Hey, what's going on? You want to talk to us? No. You just want to pose in the back. If you could pick one person in the world to be president, who would it be?
Probably Taylor Swift. I'd have to go
A
with.
Swiftie. We have a Swiftie here.
Trump, 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 Trump. The only politician we serve is Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, this is so. Before we get on to this really hot chick that you can see on screen here, that these libertarians are gonna fall in love with, and I'm serious. What are your
Georgia
thoughts,
Tech's
Ian?
Hawk Tua? Is this
Yes.
Georgia Tech's Hawk Tua?
Well, she's Georgia Tech's econ major,
Okay.
who says everything that a libertarian could dream a woman would say.
Yeah, it's true.
What
That's
did you
true.
think, Ian? Were you surprised? I mean, that was
I am surprised, but I have been hearing lately that the 18-year-olds these 18-year-olds are a little different. They're not millennials, and they're a little more open, I think, to libertarian ideas and free market ideas.
Yeah, they definitely were, and we obviously didn't talk to every tech student, but we didn't. We just stood on the bridge and waited for them to walk across, and I was not expecting that many. I thought they were going to be more progressive. as well. But even the ones that were progressive was that one guy sitting on the sidewalk. And then that guy who I was just talking to who was hammered.
Yeah.
And he got me and him to start talking real vulgar and stuff. He's in a couple more clips too. He's the one who's just like, a bitch needs to shut up. That's not really a progressive. That's just right. So yeah, especially at a school like Georgia Tech in Atlanta, I found it interesting. Now this girl right here was very fired up.
I'll bet you down the street at Georgia State, they're all Kamala supporters.
Probably.
Yeah, you're probably right.
She had some strong opinions about why she dislikes Kamala and the Biden administration and taxes. Here she is.
I don't like the raising of corporate taxes to 28%. I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I think we should keep corporate taxes at the same rate, because if we raise corporate taxes, then corporates are just going to raise consumer price. The issue is not the economy's revenue, it is government spending. Let's fix government spending. She was West Indian when she was vice president, but now she classifies as black.
So yeah,
You studied.
look at that. She's so sassy too. I mean, that chick was smart.
Yeah. Sometimes
And
you
hot.
just got to hop to that economy, man.
Yeah. And this guy kept trying to talk, and she kept jumping in. You could see him getting frustrated.
Dude, he got so annoyed right at the beginning. He just dropped out of frame because he was so pissed off that they were taking over.
Yeah.
But he made no sense for most of the things he said.
Well, I don't know if that's his girlfriend or the other girl's his girlfriend. I think the other girl might have been. But at one point, he was like, I don't know if you want to talk to her. I'm like, I absolutely want to talk to her.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Him and his buddy, they also were for Trump. He works in a Sherman-Williams, and his buddy's a mechanic. And I asked the mechanic how many mechanics in the shop are for Kamala, and he was like, none of them are.
Yeah, of course.
And they were talking about the real world impact of the economy on them. And yeah, you got to spit on that economy, Bad Christian.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's a few more in this grouping here. So that girl over his left shoulder, I think I have that. I think I have this coming up. She talks about how hard, or she feels like she can't speak up about how she likes Trump.
You studied abroad, you said.
Yes, and everyone views American politics as a joke.
We're giving too much money away. We got problems here. I'm a Republican, but I agree that there's problems in this country. Like let's say for the blacks and minorities, like we need to give more money to them instead of people outside the country. But I also agree with the border. Like illegal shouldn't.
Yeah, that girl is
I would
like
take it back. Watch the head tilt on the girl.
I know, she's like
when he says that they need to give more money. He's trying to find his words here. I know what he's trying. He's trying to be politically correct, I think, because a couple times I made vulgar jokes when we were talking about what's Kamala done for this country, and I said, well, she sucked it off, and he was like, well, I don't know about that. He was a little trying to be proper, I think, and I think he was just trying to. I think he's probably been affected by media saying that people who like Trump or people who don't want to send money to Ukraine are racist, bigots, whatever. And so I think he was kind of talking around himself to try and not sound that way.
And
but
what's crazy is,
she's having none of it.
Just drive around Atlanta, stop at any intersection in Atlanta, and I want you to see how many black people are in really nice cars.
Right.
Really,
Well,
really nice car. Better than any
rap
car I've
community.
ever even sat in. I've never even sat in some of these cars.
I've never even spun any rims like
I
that.
mean, it's what I'm saying is like, this is
right. No,
it's the
but
best
that's
time-
the
it's the best
propaganda
time
coming
to ever
through on
be a
that.
black person in America ever right now.
Well, what's amazing is how like the term like being deemed a racist is still somewhat impactful for these people.
Nah,
like
fuck. Everyone,
well,
I
it's
agree with you.
It's just wild that like that term is so overused and used in the most improper ways, but it's still people are scared to be called racist.
I think
These chicks aren't.
I
don't
think
know
we're
if the
seeing
alcohol
a
had
little
anything
more
to do with it.
pushback. I think what happens is when someone calls you racist and they see that it doesn't affect you, they do not have a next move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Next move, whatever. Or you work with Putin, or Yeah. So watch that head tilt again when he says,
I love
when
that.
he's like, we need to keep the money here and give it back to the blacks.
We're giving too much money away. We got problems here. I'm a Republican, but I agree that there's problems in this country. Like let's say for the blacks and minorities, like we need to give more money to them instead of people outside the country.
Yeah, that head tilt. She's like,
I love that too. Yeah,
It's so good.
oh my goodness, she was great.
Deciding whether or not she's gonna be friends with this guy after this conversation.
I thought that he was her boyfriend at first, but after watching it back, I think
it's the other. I think it's the other.
I think it's the other girl. Yeah.
To agree with the border.
And that the Asian girl was all in on Trump too. She showed me her phone, and she said Biden's accomplishments, and I was like, "What is it?" She goes, "It's nothing."
I know lots of Asians that are into Trump. It's not uncommon.
Yeah, there's a
also
lot of Asians at the Trump rally we went to.
Yeah.
Like illegals shouldn't be allowed in this country, but legals should be.
All right, so I think we're.
Who's better looking?
Oh wait, no, this is the who's better looking moments here. Yeah, we said who you gonna vote for, then who's better looking.
Who's better looking, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Better looking.
Donald Trump.
Who's better looking, Trump or Kamala? No, you wouldn't do either. How about a throuple? Who's better looking, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Hey, I'm into women, so like,
What if Trump identified as a woman?
if Trump was a bad bitch, it'd be a hard election.
Yeah.
If he gets the BBL and all that,
He needs to get some nice
if he
titties.
gets that shit, it's gonna be a hard choice for me,
Right, he's got the money to get like the fucking boom.
He has all the money in the world. He could be
Yeah.
the baddest bitch on earth.
That's the guy was for Kamala
Guy's
earlier.
great.
Yeah.
That guy does not remember that conversation.
No,
at
dude.
all.
He's one of the ones that got dead silent when I was like, "Have you been drinking?"
Yeah, holding a Bud Light.
Yeah. All right, couple more minutes here of these.
I'm an independent.
Yeah. All right, so these guys.
That means I'm voting for Trump.
The only reason I walked up to these guys because I was like, "Look how jacked these guys are. Let's see if they'll talk to us."
I'm gonna pick and choose from whoever has the best values between the candidates. I'm gonna be open-minded about it.
You're not gonna blindly just do one party like you're supposed to.
That's the worst thing people can do.
I thought that was how it was supposed to work.
Still weighing his
What are your
options.
favorite qualities about Kamala and Trump?
I mean, I think that Kamala, I think they both want what is best for the country, right? But it just depends on where
They're
you
also trying to
stand
be
politically,
politically
right?
correct.
I mean,
But
it just depends on what your views are. I mean, if
They
you
are smart.
agree with Trump, then vote with Trump. If you agree with what Kamala's doing, then agree with Kamala. But you have to think about what Kamala has done as vice president for the past 4 years, and you have to think about what Trump has done for the past 4 years when he was president too, and just compare and contrast and see who you like better and what you think the country should be in the future.
Is this guy
when you vote.
it's too much to think about. Though.
That's what you should think about when you vote, right? I mean,
I think about Megan Thee Stallion.
I think that everybody should just vote based on what they believe the country should be like. With it.
What your favorite celebrity tells you to vote?
My favorite celebrity?
People vote so socialized, like they just vote with their party, like it's huge party allegiance, and that's the problem. Like you should vote independent of your party, like just evaluate what their values are and choose off of that, not versus what your party tells you to do. You shouldn't vote Republican.
I mean, that sounds racist.
That's the problem. People just think it's racist, but it's not. Like you should separate, like whether you vote Republican or Democrat, Independent, Green Party, whatever. It should be based off their values, not based off their party, just because you align with that party more. Like that's the whole problem with.
Are you working for the Kremlin? You guys know Chase Oliver? Chase Oliver? You guys know him?
Sorry,
Libertarian candidate Chase Oliver.
I do not.
I do not know Chase Oliver.
Do you guys work out?
Do I work out?
Come on, of course.
I dabble.
Don't vote just because of what your political party says to vote for. Be a little bit open-minded and think outside the box a little bit. I think it's the most important thing. Just seeing the other side's perspective on things.
So those guys were we taught those guys for a long time actually. That was just a little bit, but they were very much. I just kept messing with them, but they were really trying to be like, no, just think about it and evaluate it.
Mm-hmm.
They were Trump.
Yes.
100%.
Yes,
They were.
I mean, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't say it in those words, but they said, just think about what Kamala has done for the last 4 years.
Right. That's exactly. So this was like their persuasion tactic that they probably use when they talk to people.
Yeah.
They don't know who you're for either at first, and I'm sure that frightens them.
I think that you're right. I think because a couple of them afterwards came up and they're like, seriously, who? And like neither. Trump's funny. Kamala, I don't like. I like Kamala far less, but I don't vote in the presidential election. But Trump, I think, is hilarious, is what I told him. But yes, they at first we were trying to, get. I was like talking like I was gay, and nobody wanted to talk to me at that point. So I was like, I better stop being flamboyant. I was like, maybe if I'm flamboyant, they'll want to come up to me, like because Doug Emhoff is the sexiest man alive now.
Dress up like one of your little yellow jackets or whatever they are.
And just put a little stinger and start stinging people.
On your butt. Say, hey,
Started
sting you?
saying anything about the bees or the yellow jackets, they went crazy. So
They were saying roll bees.
Yeah,
that
roll
was
bees.
That I hadn't heard before.
That's hilarious.
I didn't follow up my Chase Oliver question
Can't
with
believe you guys
do you
won.
like gay race communists, says Nate G. No, I didn't.
I'll be right back, bro.
All right. Yeah, so I was surprised. There was only 2 people that said Kamala. I was expecting more, and I was probably expecting more people unwilling to answer. At first, there was a lot of people that just didn't want to talk. And then there was a couple of people that did want to talk, but their girlfriends wouldn't let them, or their fat friend wouldn't let them.
Yeah. You don't want to talk to him.
One guy walked by us and he goes, I'm not answering any of your questions. I'm like, what did you do, dude? What are you hiding? I'm not the cops, man.
Jeez. Yeah.
And
What would happen if you dressed up like an Antifa person and asked these questions?
I don't know. I know that I was mistaken for Antifa multiple times during the Trump rally. And
You were?
yeah, me and Zach were standing right next to him because we were trying to get footage of him. And the couple people that were yelling at him, they walked by us because we had the microphone. They started yelling at us, and I said, "We're not with them, but keep going." And I put the microphone in their face. All right, let's see. I'm gonna wait a minute for Jake. He's giving a dog back. Let him see the second half of these clips, but. The students there, I wanted to go down there because they had been drinking. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to
No, that's a great spot.
to talk with them. This does not match up to me with the narrative that there's all of this amazing enthusiasm. Everything that I see on them streets doesn't line up with nobody likes Trump anymore, or his support is waning, and everybody loves Kamala. It's the opposite to me. People have a very strong dislike for Kamala, it would seem.
Yeah. Well, and I do think that people are afraid to answer Trump on polls sometimes. I'm not, a lot of people think that.
Right. Yeah, no, sometimes maybe they mess with them as well. And they have this. That Christian says maybe you intimidated them with that sleeveless shirt. I wanted to fit in. I could have taken it off like all these other guys.
You should have asked those guys if they could tell you if you worked out.
Well, I did challenge a few of them to one-on-one basketball games.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't go play right now. And we asked a few if we could come over. And the guys said yes, and they said they didn't know if the others would. We were trying to blend in with the color. It was like that meme with what's the actor in the Adam Sandler movies where he goes, "Hey, fellow high schoolers." I can't remember his name. No, not Rob Schneider. The other guy, the guy who's got big eyes like me.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know.
You would think that more people at Georgia Tech would know Chase. There was one person who knew who Chase was, Grumpy, and it was a girl from Lebanon. And she was very smart as well. Steve Buscemi. Yes, Nate. Steve Buscemi, the backpack, hey, fellow high school students. It felt kind of like one of those things. But they've been doing the thing about the election stealing in Georgia. This has become a prominent narrative. I talked to Garland last week, and we talked about that rule that was passed in Georgia, and I told him, and he agreed they're going to be targeted. Those those Georgia State Elections Board members who voted in favor of this rule were going to be the subject of smears, and that rule was going to be the subject of attack. And now there's a lawsuit already trying to get it reversed.
Yeah,
I knew this was coming. And the media is, in coordinated fashion, talking about how illegal it is. It's not. It's perfectly legal. They're saying the opposite of reality, but they're preparing to steal it. We're preparing to just end our elections overall.
It's crazy.
I don't know what's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen if it's just obvious to half the country it's stolen and the other half is denying it was?
That's the main problem. Is you've got one half that not even a half, just a very strong like third. You know, every diehard Democrat right now. You remember that in Coming to America when Eddie Murphy, before he comes to America, they introduce him to who his wife is, and she's been trained to like everything he likes, and he's like, "Oh, what's your favorite color?" She's like, "Oh, whatever color you like," and he's like, "Oh, hop on one foot, bark like a dog." He does that whole bit. That's exactly what Democrats have done. That's what's so scary to me is they've just fallen in line behind Kamala Harris. Without
they tell us
they
that
fall
they
in
have.
line. Then they fall in line behind her policies. I talked to a liberal friend of mine about this all day. Our text thread, we just shit on each other all day long. But he really does. Every single time there's
weird.
some development, like he's all about like, well, fuck it. Who cares if she stole the tax for tips idea? No tax on tips idea.
If it's a good idea, it's a good idea.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
Yeah. They're also bringing back the Trump separates kids from families.
They've
at the
got
border
people
thing.
so afraid of Trump that they're willing to agree to the dumbest shit ever.
It's wild, man. My father-in-law thinks Trump is trying to be Hitler.
It's crazy. That's the craziest fucking
Look at his
idea. That's
mustache.
the conspiracy theory.
It's wild, man.
Yeah.
Like I keep saying, like, what about his last presidency makes you think that? Like,
Well, what I keep telling my liberal friends is, you're the people who sell out Anne Frank. That's who you are.
Yeah.
I'm sure they love hearing.
Oh, they love it. They love it. That's why they love hanging out with me, because I talk to them like that.
And yet all of these college students, 95% of them were Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's a Gen. What are they? Gen Z? Is that what they are?
Gen A, Gen Alpha.
Yeah, it's alpha, beta. You see where it's going?
Yeah.
I'm not-
Well, no, it's definitely going. They are trying to make the new male, the beta male, with Doug Emhoff at the beginning, and that's actually a theme I've seen in multiple clips and
so
stories.
Small, man.
And he talks like he's super gay.
That's what I'm saying.
And they have the chemistry of Will and Grace.
They're going to
Kamala
try to
and Doug
highlight
Emhoff
all
too.
the things that have been traditionally masculine. They're going to try to highlight, like, it's women really do prefer men with tiny hands.
Right. Yeah.
The tiny hands are sexy.
Yeah,
he finds guys to hook up with her, and he films it. He's a beautiful cinematographer.
Yeah.
All right, couple more minutes of this. Where are we here? Georgia Tech won today. Congratulations.
Georgia Tech fucking did one today. Let's
So,
go.
are you guys ready?
They did
Let's
one.
go. Yeah, we're
Can't wait for next week.
FSU is what? FSU is what?
Yeah, they're nothing, dude. Next week we're gonna lose the Sisters of the Poor.
For what? Undefeated for what?
I know, they can suck their own dicks,
They
dude.
can suck their own dicks. You got that on the spot, man. Let's
That was for
fucking
you,
go!
Ian.
Thank you.
You guys see the game? Don't talk to strangers. That's good. Your parents sent me. Hey, I like your scooter. That's cool. I like y'all's scooter. You guys are cute. That's two dudes. I like your shorts. Very short. Hi. I'm Brad. Hi. Hi. I like your scooter and your package. Scooters everywhere.
Scooter
Like your hat.
the whole time.
Hey man, I like your drink. What's up, man? You see the game? Was it good?
Great.
Yeah, great game. You work out?
Yes.
You got any drugs in that bag?
If you look in the
Let me
background,
see.
you can see a guy's head in the lap of some.
Yeah,
other guy.
could you see that in that shot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy's over there. That's one dude laying in another dude's lap because he was puking over there in the grass.
Oh my god.
So I was trying to stop these scooters, and I finally did stop one of them, and I found out. Well, one scooter came by that had like spinning rims, and it was just like somebody had spent
LED
15,
lights
20 grand
everywhere.
on one of these scooters to soup it up.
Yeah.
And apparently, this guy, according to one student, he's probably not right on it, but he says he thinks about 30% of the students own scooters there. Instead of just renting them, they have their own scooter.
Have you
And
tried renting one?
no, I haven't.
So me and my wife used to do it a lot, and it was like $2-3 a ride. I rented one the other day when we were actually in DC when we were there for the national convention. It was freaking $17 for 5 minutes on a scooter.
I almost got on one
dude.
to
That's
come meet
price
up with you,
gouging.
Jake, but I was too afraid I was going to run into somebody because that's all I see is I hate those scooters. They run into people, and I actually found somebody who loves riding these scooters, and he talked to us here in a second. Oh, wait, I took the sound down there. Hey, you guys like the Lime scooters lined up and down the streets? You guys ever ride them? You do?
The Lime scooters are great.
Yeah. So do you guys use them a lot?
Yes, we rode 2 of them together twice.
Do you just plow through people on the sidewalk?
Of course.
I like to leave mine in the middle of
I hit
I-85.
someone the other day.
You hit someone the other day. You guys haven't gotten hurt, have you?
I actually got hit by a car, but not on a scooter, on an electric skateboard.
You need to be careful.
That car fucked me up.
The guy hit somebody the other day on a scooter, and he got hit by a car on an electric skateboard.
Damn, that guy's a good time.
Yeah, he is a good time. He wanted us to come hang out. His rest of his friends, I don't think they wanted to.
They did not want us to come in.
I think this is the last part of this. Have you guys seen my cat? Oh, God, yeah. This is stupid. Have you guys seen my cat? It's gray. Have you seen my cat? Sir, have you seen my pussy?
So
That's
dumb.
it. So when, at one point in time, I just started doing random stuff.
I love it.
Yeah. So
That's fun, man.
It devolved into nothing
Yeah.
pretty quick.
yeah, it was fun though. But tech students, you surprised me. And
Mm-hmm.
Jake, if you track down that economics girl, she's an econ major. I did ask her.
We're working on it.
Then we'd love to talk to her on the show and get her opinions on stuff because she was very smart. There's a lot of very smart people there. I still have more stuff I'm going to cut together.
Dude, just
But-
the mere fact that she mentioned the corporate tax rate as like a 19-year-old econ major at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And she studied abroad too. She'd said that the people in the countries I can't remember where she said she went. She said they think America's politics is just a joke.
I feel
It's
like
also-
she said Paris. Sorry.
It's also probably a testament to how much more widely available this type of information is through the internet, YouTube. I'm sure you start watching one video and all of a sudden, she's learning all about free market principles and corporate tax rates and what really raises costs and things like that.
Dude, I gotta
Yeah.
take some like economics and one lessons books on these interview sessions we got and just hand them out to the people who I think could actually
Well, I mean,
retain the information.
she can make economics not so boring. Okay,
That's
she's
very
a
fair.
lot better looking than most econ professors I ever studied under,
Yeah.
to say the least. All right,
Bikinomics. Is that gonna be a
Bikinomics.
YouTube
The theme
channel we start?
continues when you go out on the street and talk to people.
Yeah.
Doesn't match up with what the media says. So,
Yeah.
which doesn't
Every
surprise
time.
me at all.
Every
Yeah.
daggum time. Ian, was that whole sequence okay for you watching a bunch of Georgia Tech fans? Because I was enjoying them relishing in y'all's loss. Because
They don't get to win very often.
Yeah,
so,
well-
Unless it's
you know,
against Florida
whatever.
State.
I'm not going to begrudge
They
them.
beat Florida State.
Yeah. Okay.
Ian
But, you know,
had to send a text message when Florida State was winning in the
I
middle of
know.
the game.
I'm so bad about that.
And then Josh and I were on set of that movie, and we took a picture of each other and sent it to him, and we were flicking them off, and Ian turned our fingers into dicks and
Yep.
sent the picture
I
back to us.
photoshopped their fingers into dicks and I sent them back.
Ian, you should know as a Florida State fan to not count your chickens before they had, man.
I know.
That
I
is
know.
ridiculous.
I know.
My granddad played and coached at Miami, so we
Okay.
do not like FSU at all. And I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah,
all the
you're in
wide
enemy
left, wide
territory,
left,
Ian.
wide right, wide
Yeah.
left, wide left.
I know.
Hell yeah. Nate says next babe that starts talking about corpo tax rates, ask her she's a Tom Woods gal.
She's a Tom Woods gal. She'd have been advocating for no corporate tax.
Yeah. All right. So similar theme at the Bitcoin conference when it comes to talking to people on the floor. The Bitcoiners didn't want to necessarily, not all of them, some of them did very enthusiastically. Like Trump, they were either Trump or RFK Jr. from the ones that I talked to. I got zero it was Biden at the time. 100% Trump and RFK. It's kind of split between those two.
Right.
But now that they're kind of together, I guess it won't matter. But they also did not want to necessarily say. They were kind of like, I don't want to be political, but then they pull you around and go, Trump. And I interviewed a bunch of people there. And what I have here is just a montage of the entrepreneurial stuff that these Bitcoin enthusiasts do. I didn't even intend to get this. I just started asking people after I talked to them, well, is there anything you want to promote? And they all had something that they wanted to promote that was a Bitcoin-related business that they started. And I found that to be interesting. And then it started to click with me how rich some of the people at this conference were. All of these nerds had smoking hot Asian girlfriends. I've never seen so many beautiful Asian women in one room in my life. Am I wrong, Jake?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And you're going, this guy, this dweeb is 5'3", 140 pounds, and this chick's could be on the cover of Playboy if she wanted. I'm like, oh, he's rich. He's rich. And this really clicked with me when one guy I was talking to who was playing along with me and Josh. I was dressed as Secret Service. Josh was dressed as Trump, and we were walking around the conference, and he started doing his Clinton impersonation. And I asked him what he did, and he said, I'm retired. I'm like, what are you, 28 years old? And then I said, you got that Bitcoin money like every other motherfucker in this room, don't you? And he started laughing. And then Josh started trying to pitch him in the movie business and all that.
Course.
You know, Josh does that. And we met some venture capitalists that invest in crypto and Bitcoin projects, and they invest in other things that is themed. Everybody at this conference that I talked to seems to be religiously devoted to Bitcoin. And it's a lifestyle, it's a club, we're winning, it's screw the fiat system, it's Bitcoin is freedom, it's freedom from the central control. This is what I was hearing from the people that I was talking to, and a lot of Satoshi stuff you see there. The best explanation that I got for Bitcoin, because I've talked to a lot of people about Bitcoin, and it's never been simplified quite. This is probably an oversimplification, but they had all these big mining machines, and the whole idea of the mining computers, the bigger and more efficient, I guess the quicker you can mine the Bitcoin. But I've always been like, what? So what are you mining for? You're mining for Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin is the gold. God put the gold there. Who put the Bitcoin in the computer or in the digital world? Satoshi. Satoshi is God in this analogy. Is that correct, Jake?
That is correct. Yes.
And the miners, instead of being people, although they can, because you can do it mathematically, right?
You can. That's the old school method before like people started using.
So you just you're sitting there typing code and stuff like that.
2 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 2 plus 4. How long does this take to get some Bitcoin that way?
That was long before I got involved in Bitcoin. So I'm not sure on the specifics of it, but that is doable.
Yeah. So the computer is doing the calculations, and what's the mining process? I asked, and the guy said to me, oh, it's just solving a puzzle.
Oh yeah, that's simple, like a jigsaw puzzle.
It's a complicated puzzle.
It's and then in the middle is all the Bitcoin.
It's like tic-tac-toe. It's a very complicated puzzle, and once you get it, you reward. This is where I get foggy on it. You reward yourself, and a Bitcoin goes on the blockchain that you have access to. So you have
Bitcoin out of thin air. You've created a new Bitcoin out of thin air, or you found a Bitcoin that was hidden somewhere.
I think you've created it. Is that correct, Jake, or is it?
So
it's a reward.
You have created it because so there are 21 million that will be created forever, and we just hit 19 million. So there are 2 million left to mine, and they will last until the year 2140. So the last Bitcoin will be mined in the year 2140. So we've got a little bit of time before that happens. But yeah, you're basically creating it. You're pulling it out of the mines, and
by solving it.
This is where I just give up on Bitcoin, and this is what Bitcoin people need to do better. As soon as you started explaining, it's like, I'm with you, and then I kind of just drop off at a certain point and feel stupid.
Okay, here's a much simpler. Look, mining is a misnomer in my opinion. I think mining gets people super confused because they tried to because Bitcoin's the orange gold. It's like the digital gold. Like they wanted to compare it to gold, and so they use the term mining, which I don't necessarily agree with. But think of it as a way of if you are a Bitcoin miner, you are processing transactions and solving complex mathematical equations in order to make that happen. And your reward on your computer, your computer.
All right.
Your computer handles all of it. You can just buy one straight out of the box, plug it in, and it starts processing these transactions.
Okay.
So you don't have to do anything. And your reward for processing these transactions is a little slice of the pie. There's a little slice of Bitcoin.
Okay.
So that's the simplest way that I can explain it.
No, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So
and the enthusiasm around it.
You become part of this process. You become part of the process.
Yeah, and you become part of the blockchain network. So the reason a country can't shut down the blockchain is because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of nodes around the world copying every transaction that happens on the blockchain. And so you'd have to shut down the entire internet around the world forever in order to stop Bitcoin.
No,
and the argument that it's stronger than money is you can't print more Bitcoin because of the limited supply, and the government doesn't have central control over it. And unless you have it, the government doesn't. But if you have it on one of the platforms where a lot of people have it on, like Voyager or something like that before it went bankrupt, then you don't really have access to it. And this is where I was confused, is the hard wallet ledgers. Your Bitcoin's not stored on there. It's your private access keys, correct?
Correct.
So when someone has lost 30 or 300 million worth of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin's actually in the same place on the blockchain. But the private access keys are there. So this person has lost private access keys in a landfill. People search for, whoever can find it has access to that $300 million. And what had really intrigued me about it was the Bitcoiners. I did not know, just like Trump didn't know, that to Bitcoiners, it's not crypto. They are offended if you call Bitcoin crypto. I did one interview, and I did a bunch of interviews, but one of the interviews, I was talking to somebody. When I went to watch it back, I asked him, because he was talking about his kids, he was talking about crypto or Bitcoin. Here we go again. And I said, oh, are your kids, are they into crypto? And he went, oh, no. And then he started saying, no, they're responsible. They're Bitcoin. And I'm confused because I think he's saying the same thing. And I don't realize at the time that he thinks I'm stupid. Okay, but I'm watching the interview and I'm like, oh, he was really offended by me calling Bitcoin crypto interchangeably. And then Trump did the same thing. And I saw all the memes of when Trump comes to your conference, everybody's excited. Then when Trump calls your Bitcoin crypto, and they're mad. I was like, oh, that's what I did. I did the same thing Trump did. But the reason that they differentiate from it, from my understanding, is because all the shit coins are based on nothing. I guess some of them are limitless. It's just totally you pump and dump on a trend if you happen to hit it or get lucky. But they're not a scam. The Bitcoin is not a scam. The Bitcoin is legitimate. And looking around at that conference and looking at how wealthy almost everybody there appeared to be. Now, people can fake it, but the hotel that was across the street from us, there was nothing but Lamborghinis and just the nicest cars I've ever seen in my life. There was nothing but beautiful women on the arms of 70-year-old men and little dweebs. And it was the strangest thing I'd ever seen, which led me to the conclusion that there's something to this Bitcoin.
Yeah. I got to learn more about it.
Yeah. I would highly recommend. Yeah.
I'm going to show you some of the stuff. So now, some of these businesses are they're like AI, but they're themed in Bitcoin. They're pay through Bitcoin.
Was this the day that I was talking?
Yes, this is the day you got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I pick up Bitcoin for Dummies?
Bitcoin for Dummies.
They got to have that out by now.
I'm sure they do.
Here's the
Oh,
Bitcoin
watch
standard.
Bitcoin University. That's what I was directed to. I've been
Bitcoin
watching some of
University
this
is a great YouTube channel, and then the Bitcoin Standard and the Fiat Standard are the two best books to get into it.
And Jake, you're friends with Shane Hazel and the Bitcoin veterans that spoke at the. I didn't get a chance to see their speech there. Did you see it? Or was that when you were sick?
That was when I was puking.
Oh, it sucks. That sucks. No, but it's interesting though. Me and Josh met at the bar that we met up with you and your wife and the Bitcoin veterans. One of the Bitcoin veterans, I don't think he spoke, but I think he came there to that event. We got to talking to him, and he was just so enthusiastic about Bitcoin. I need to bring him on the show. A super cool guy, but he was just like, no, I need to give you guys some Bitcoin. I heard a lot of that. People like wanting to show you how it works and wanting to send it to you, so that you learn about it, because they want, if it spreads and more people adopt it, then it's more valuable to everybody. And you see Trump putting out the Bitcoin shoe. Trump just put out Bitcoin trading cards. So the idea of it is in the ether even further. And I think for me, I'm not good at any of that stuff, but I am getting a little bit of it, and I'm going to get a hard wallet.
Man, I got to get into it. I mean, it's one of those things where, and I think probably a lot of people are like this. We've all heard of Bitcoin, and 99% of us just hear it in the background. Bitcoin news and crypto news, and it doesn't mean anything.
It is definitely, I think, emerging for sure. But this was an eye-opening experience for me, learning from all these people who were just so enthusiastic and passionate. It's a lifestyle for them.
Well, it sounds like a fun lifestyle.
Nice
nice car,
yes, it
hot Asian
certainly
wife.
looked like a fun lifestyle.
You know.
What's that clip? All right.
You got to start your world's youngest man. What was that? What's that thing that we're? You know, talking about the dude that's spending $1 million a year to have. He's like 40.
Oh
he
yeah,
wants to have the body
the
of
guy
an
who's
18-year-old.
de-aging, the de-aging guy.
Yeah. And there's a whole competition of these.
He's like, my dick is 17 years old.
Yeah, there's like a de-aging.
I know.
So
He's ranked number 2.
So he can't touch it.
Right. Yeah. He can't touch it yet. It's like
can't
he's
touch it yet. You got to wait for your dick to get another year older.
Yeah, he's gonna get arrested if he touches his own 17-year-old
dick.
My heart's 45,
but my dick is 17.
Yeah. Here, so this is just stop it whenever. I don't remember the order of this, but if something intrigues you, just tell me to pause it. This guy was super cool. I just walked by him. I was just asking people random stuff, and they all had some interesting business. Everybody here does something very entrepreneurial.
I do a lot of educational content, so I've taught elementary, middle schools, high schools, colleges, and beyond. Ivy Leagues I've been to. I do a lot of Bitcoin and crypto education. 1 to 2 minute videos are on my website, my YouTube channel, all across my social media. I do a 9:45 a.m. Eastern show Monday through Friday called The Daily Zest, where I cover daily crypto news. I have the
She's
Randy
like
Hipper
Mike
show, where I've
TV.
had an A-list roster of guests that you do not want to miss. So if you guys have not yet seen, please check out my social media. Make sure we are spreading that education, the fundamentals of the space, which is being your own bank and transacting peer-to-peer 365 with no intermediaries and no financial institutions to censor you.
I think we found your crypto czar, Mr. President.
Oh yeah.
Trump was my cameraman while we were doing this.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it was fine. It was funny because some
Wow.
people didn't even realize it at first, and they go, "Oh, Mr. President," but that was just a random girl that we were walking
That's
by.
great.
And so I look her up, and this has been the case for every single person that I've looked up. She's got like 100,000 followers.
Wow.
There
What's
was
her
one
channel?
lady that I thought was, I mean, I was like, why does this woman why is she interested in us? Her and her husband, and I'm like, is this a scam? What's going on? And then I realized, I was like, oh, they just think because me and Josh were just acting like idiots. And it's like, she just thinks we're funny, I think. And then I look her up on the way back, and I'm like, this is a cover model who is the president of a crypto venture capitalism firm. I'm like,
Wow.
God, it's crazy. So this guy has an AI coffee bar.
Daniel Lee, I'm the VP for Art Lee Coffee. We are a AI, robotic computer vision, computer learning coffee company based out of Seattle. This is our 3rd year. And we're excited to be here at the Bitcoin conference, serving lattes, cappuccinos, sponsored by Iron.
So how does this work?
Yeah, so you put the order through. Your robotic arm here has a camera. It'll search for all the QR codes for each major step. As you can see, we use Italian coffee equipment that you'll find in your local coffee shop. No shortcuts. All the syrup, milk is dispensed by weight to a 0.1 gram variance. And it'll finish off with beautiful latte art that our barista in Seattle has taught the robot to do.
It does art?
It does latte art.
That is super cool. Will it scan my retina?
In the future, actually right now, we're testing a program which has facial recognition. So you can take a selfie of yourself on our Artly app, walk up to any Artly cafe. We have 15 locations throughout the US, and it'll automatically recognize you just like your local barista would. Ask you if you want your latte, give it a thumbs up in the camera, and it will make your latte for you.
This is just a gimmick.
I'm gonna pass on that last part.
Yeah.
I don't need my barista to recognize me.
To recognize you.
And then store all of my information. No, F that. Nah. The other part's cool. The coffee making, that's fine. I don't have to talk
art.
Yeah, I don't have to talk to somebody who hates me on a base level when I go to Starbucks, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah. To me, even though this does the facial scan, which is creepy, this makes me think of the robo dentist that Zuckerberg's dad is doing. Ian,
what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what's happening?
Zuckerberg's dad's a dentist, and he has funded the first robo dentist that performs surgery.
And they can train them on robot kids.
A human.
On robot kids and the robot mouth.
Yeah, and they showed a picture, and the robot's just in the person's mouth, and just wait till that thing gets hacked.
And it asks you, as soon as it puts the drill in your mouth, it's like, so, how's the weather? Are you playing golf? And it tries to get a conversation going with you.
Yeah, it starts fondling you depending on what kind of model it is. But this
you
to
into
me,
Bitcoin?
If you can go in, I'm to the point when I go to a coffee shop, Starbucks anyway, where they do that thing where they make you tip them before you get your coffee or before you even get your muffin to know if they even warmed it up like they asked you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to tip. You have to pre-tip them. Otherwise, they scoff at you. If you pull out cash, they scoff at you.
Well, tipping stands for to ensure prompt service, Brad. And it was a practice, and this is maybe an old wives' tale, but I'm going to say it anyways. It was a practice started by Irish blue-collar workers who couldn't get service in bars. So they would tip to ensure prompt service so they could get service.
So you're with
it could be
the
complete
you're
bullshit, but it
baristas.
sure sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't mind tipping good service, but I do mind when I tip and then the coffee's cold and they don't the sandwich is wrong. And it's like, what do I do now? Do I go back and say, give me the $2 back? You pink-haired barista. That's why I like this
give you
idea.
50 cents and say she'll say Trumpflation and throw it back at you.
Yeah. Now maybe they train these things. Now maybe these things scoff at you also. I think I might have asked him something like that. If it gets angry, will it spit in your coffee? Yeah. I asked him if it spit in the coffee.
What is that robot's pronouns?
right.
The funds from your account.
If it gets angry, will it spit in your coffee?
It may not spit in your coffee. No.
Is there any of these in Georgia?
There's not any in Georgia. We have California, Seattle, Portland.
That guy over his shoulder, I don't think I have his thing in here, but he talked to us about, he's 70 years old. He talked to us about his wife who's 30 and how they came to the Bitcoin conference together and how he was trying to help her. Works in radio, I think, and I'm just like, there ain't a 70-year-old man here with a woman that's any older than 35 years old, from what I can tell.
Toronto, Vancouver, New York, Detroit, and LA.
Tell people where to find you.
Artly Coffee, IG Artly.coffee, based out of Seattle. Please give us a try.
Thanks, man.
I teach vendors how to accept crypto. My website is acceptcrypto.org. It has a lot of tools and resources for wallets and guides, how to set up gateways, how to, see different just magazines and websites that are out there for crypto. So I heavily recommend checking it out.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, I'm Devin Herbers with Mixed and with BitTape, bittape.io.
Okay, what is BitTape?
BitTape is the new format for music publishing.
Okay.
Based on the old format.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, essentially, this is a Bitcoin wallet.
Okay, so that's if you instead of having it on an exchange, you can put it on that.
Yeah,
and then you put it in your 1980 car, and it'll power your car.
In an ideal scenario, yes. I'm not sure if our
Well, so when he said an ideal scenario, yes, I'm like, wait a minute, is this guy going to come up with a product like that somehow? But then I'm thinking about, is there a way that's possible? I think that they probably do think like that. And maybe there is when you combine the Bitcoin. I mean, the massive computers in this room or mining rigs, yeah, they were these big, giant, beautiful machines.
Yeah.
And Josh at one point was walking around as Trump, and I'm still cutting this together going, what is this thing? And I was like, go in there, Mr. President, see what happens. And he was going over and looking at it and stuff. And just we had no idea what we were talking. I had no idea what any of these people were talking about. Really,
that would be
I
very
learned as I
impressive.
went, but do what?
That would be very impressive. I don't know how that tech would work. I know, like for us, one of our Bitcoin miners is a heater. And so like mining Bitcoin, like using a computer, like anybody's computer, creates heat, it gets really hot. And so we have a heater that's basically a Bitcoin miner. It mines Bitcoin, and in doing so, it propels the heat in the winter across the room. It's freaking amazing. It's a space heater.
Interesting.
That's
yeah,
interesting.
that's interesting. You do it on a PlayStation too, I heard.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So he did have a interesting utility to this product that he describes here in a second, because you know usually the NFTs are just kind of worthless art, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
and covers that. But
yeah. The base function of an NFT is amazing, but what people initially were introduced to NFTs as was the idiotic art. But they actually will serve a phenomenal purpose in the future, which maybe he'll get to. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a mass adoption play, so we're really making it easy for people to use the technology with them not
With
even
the
knowing
tape?
it. So
Yes. So and he said something there. He's trying to make it easy to use the technology, for people to use the technology without even knowing it. So
Interesting.
stupid people like me.
Yeah.
That he's talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're really making it easy for people to use the technology with them not even knowing it. So
that's interesting.
So the user experience would be tap in, redeem, you enter your PIN code, and it's preloaded with the NFTs. So, and then within the wallet, it plays music, videos, you can deploy games, all kinds of stuff.
What's an NFT? Josh here was asking what an NFT was earlier.
It's a non-fungible token, but the acronym's kind of become a stigma because there's so many scams around it.
Right.
So we've started to rebrand it as unique digital assets. So UDAs is an NFT on Bitcoin. Or in our case, we just call it a song that you own, music.
Is there a website, again, you want to tell people where to go?
Yeah, you can check us out at bittape.io if you want to pre-order and be a part of the first ever 1,111 mixtapes ever released. And you know, we're doing our commercial launch beginning of next year, and we're going to be putting together millions of Bitcoin wallets.
That's super, super cool. I'm going to check it out because I lost money not having mine on a wallet. So what do you think of that idea, Jake?
I don't hate it. It would be something that would get people of a certain age into it, or more likely
what do the
to get
songs
them into
have to
it.
do with it? This is where what the fuck do the songs have to do with it? I put my Bitcoin in a song on a tape that's a wallet that I tap my phone on to get my song. What the fuck am I doing?
No, I mean I don't know if it is purchased
I want to
by the
understand so
Bitcoin.
bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like NFTs, the technology behind an NFT is pretty phenomenal. So it's a non-fungible token, exactly what he said. So it's not duplicatable, can't be replicated. If you own something that has an NFT attached to it, it is outright, you are the owner. It cannot be faked. And so the idea behind the art is stupid because it was all digital art. But the idea of these kinds of things is you'll be able to see who owns different things. So in his case, he's talking about songs. But like the most realistic and interesting scenario that I've heard is people using it for real estate. And so it would be undeniable that you own this particular plot of land that has these particular coordinates in this particular section. And it would be it would basically render real estate agents obsolete because you wouldn't need them anymore. And it's an interesting technology. I don't know everything about NFTs. It's not my biggest strength, but the ideas of NFTs is pretty great. This tape thing, it's interesting. I'd have to look more into it. I need to do a little digging on their website, but I like the nostalgic factor of it.
I do too. I thought it was.
I used to love making mixtapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach says it's Bitcoin's way of licensing a song. That guy, he was one of the guys I asked Trump or RFK, and he didn't want to say because he's in the industry. And
who?
That guy I was just talking to. I asked him. He didn't want to.
Got you.
Yeah, he's in the industry, so he didn't. He lived out in I think L.A.
Well, I mean, a place like this convention, I'm sure it's the cross section of where Trump voters and, like you said, RFK voters or maybe begrudging Kamala voters would be hanging out together.
Yeah, I don't think there was one Kamala voter.
No, but
there'd be fewer for sure. Yeah.
But I guess this is where I also envision they also probably hang out at Whole Foods Market and Trader Joe's. That's where these two groups also intersect in society.
Yeah. Yeah,
probably
possibly.
Right.
That's where the old men pick up the hot Asian women.
Yep.
Is at Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
So these guys were cool. These guys were with Ordinals, I believe, which I still don't have any idea really what that is. But I thought what they were doing was interesting. They were doing elections or vote, like not an election, but a poll. Who did a better speech, Trump or RFK? But they were doing it online, and they were using Ordinals, and they were talking about the security of it. So I asked him if elections could they help secure elections? Because we have that big problem right now. And he said to me, I don't know if it's in this clip, but he said, we're not getting political yet, basically, even though they are getting political. But yeah, we're working towards that. So I thought this was, especially in light of all the stuff going on right now with our elections.
Yeah, no, my plans are huge, baby. Yeah. Hey, if you really want to know, go to battleordinals.com and vote for whose speech was the
They're definitely not getting political.
Yeah.
best. There's only 1,012 on each side. You're either going to get one of one of this,
yeah, they're definitely
or no, not that one, or one of the Bobby. So if you think RFK did better, go to battleordinals.com. 6 p.m. to 6:15. It'll be over. There's only 3 rounds, 5 minutes each. The first guy to sell out knocks out. They're only $12, $25, and $75. You can buy up to 3.
Bobby murdered Trump in that speech.
That's what we thought of the speech, but you need to vote. This is the most transparent poll in history on voter sentiment. You will see this on chain. There will be no question from ABC or some BS poll. Which one do you want? Which one did better?
So it'll be transparent because it's on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's on the blockchain in the form of hashes. Is that what that is?
I'd have to look into their tech. I have no idea.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, if it's based on Bitcoin blockchain, it would be you can't duplicate votes. It would be one vote is one person, and that each person would be able to be identified by their vote. So
no government will ever adopt this. Ever.
Or actually, I would say third and fourth world countries would.
Right, but we wouldn't.
First and second world that are going to be very much opposed to
the Bitcoin University guy said on his channel the other day that he's giving a presentation to the CIA.
Oh, jeez.
They're just trying to figure out how they can possibly infiltrate it and use it.
Yep.
But
yeah, because if it is going to be something that enough people around the world get on board with, and there were people who were from all around the world that were there. The Asian couple that I was talking about earlier, the cover model, they're in Japan, I believe, and her husband told me they came over here just to see what the Bitcoiners in America were like, to see if they were serious.
We're less serious in other countries. I'll say that.
They're less serious. We are less serious in other countries?
We're less serious than other countries, yeah.
Well, that's what Trump was saying. Trump was saying that in the speech that if it's going to be spreading anyway, we need to beat China. It's always we got to beat China. And,
yeah, well, that's his thing. But we tend to, as a whole, think of Bitcoin as an investment, as like a stock, as a way to make money, whereas there are many countries who have started adopting it as actual currency, which is what it's made for.
Yeah.
And so what we use it for is a far more privileged way of using it, which I think is friggin' stupid. I try to use it as a currency every day. And the more people who adopt it as a currency, the better it's going to be in the future.
Yeah, I realized we were in a privileged environment when we went to a party on Saturday night at the festival, and they had a bowl on every table of free joints people could take.
Are
and
you kidding me?
The alcohol was all free. There was money everywhere. This was free liquor. You could tip them through Cash App. I've never seen so many QR codes in my life. And then you really know you're not in a third world country when the furry enters the dance party. I was trying to get Josh to dance with the furry, but instead he just was pulled into the middle of the dance circle by one of the hottest chicks you've ever seen in your life. I took so many photos of hot chicks wanting to come up and get their picture with Josh Trump.
That's great. That's great.
Ordinals.com, 6 p.m. sharp, CST. Join the wait list now.
Team Bitcoin merchandise, Team Bitcoin baseball jerseys, basketball jerseys, hockey jerseys. We got hats as well. And yeah, man. So essentially just Team Bitcoin. I was looking for a Bitcoin baseball jersey because I like wearing baseball jerseys. I couldn't find one. And so I just said, I could probably do this myself. And I started doing it. And here we are. I started the business actually last year at Miami. And that was the first day of my business, like Shopify opening up. And I didn't even have a booth at all. I was just wearing it around and wanted to see if people would like it, and people really liked them. So I bought a bunch and have been selling them ever since, and now I'm here. So
you've been packed all day. You said you haven't had a chance to get away. It just all these different angles for starting businesses that have that
brilliant.
Bitcoin.
That's brilliant what this guy's done.
Yeah,
and he had a basketball thing there where you shoot, and he wasn't running it when we were there. But you shoot, and if you make it, you get a jersey.
That's awesome.
And that's sending people to his website. And there was, just everything was such just the creativity that came out of what are different ways I can do a Bitcoin business. I mean, heck, I don't even understand it really, but I'm like, what can I do to do a Bitcoin business?
Could I mine Bitcoin by chaining a bunch of slave children around a wheel?
Yeah,
like a wooden wheel, and having them march around.
Yeah, of course, it's the best way to do it. I heard there was one of those.
That's a decent way to do it. I mean, I feel like the amount you'd spend on food and water might.
Oh no! I just replace the child.
Well then, super efficient. I would highly recommend that way.
Okay, all right.
It's far better than buying machinery.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Super busy, but yeah, I mean, I'm.
And he was out of jerseys.
I'm hungry, hangry. But it's a good thing overall, man. It's I'm super happy, and I met a lot of cool people, and that's the whole point of coming to these things too, is just meeting like the best people on earth. Team Bitcoin is winning, and
see that right there, that was the feeling there, not just from him. Team Bitcoin, the best people on earth, and here he says something interesting right here.
We have the best. Yeah, I think that we have the best people in the world. Like I don't really like hanging out with normies anymore, to be honest. I'm allergic to normies these days.
All right, thanks. Normies, I believe are people who aren't, Bitcoin enthusiasts. I think of normies as people who believe the media. I think it's probably a little bit of a different interpretation for him, but I found that to be interesting. I'm imagining that he's trying to explain what Bitcoin is to people that he knows, and maybe they don't get it, and he just I don't even want to talk to these people anymore. They don't get it. They don't get the gold right in front of them.
Yeah. No, that's a common sentiment. For sure. It gets frustrating. Like I know plenty of Bitcoiners who just have stopped advocating at all and just use it because it gets incredibly frustrating to just see people go dead in the eyes as soon as you mention Bitcoin.
I'm one of those people, but I'm going to read those books. I'm going to understand this.
Those two books are very short.
Make this movie about
very
it.
Quick read. Yeah.
Man, where can people find your work again?
Yeah, hodlersofficial.com. Team Bitcoin, and we're winning too, so
hell yeah.
Remember that.
Is there anything you want to promote or you want to tell?
Yeah. Now,
This guy's
this
retired.
is nothing of my own. I have
He told
no axe to grind here. But I will say for the folks at home, well, this audience is going to be pretty Bitcoin sophisticated. But for your friends and family, I think that Bitcoin University on YouTube, that YouTube channel, is just one of the best and most lucid voices in the space.
I've been watching that
It's great
channel.
for educating your normie family and friends. You know, it's there's no price prediction, none of that talk. Okay, it's just about what makes Bitcoin special, and in Bitcoin, not crypto. What makes Bitcoin special?
Yeah,
and
right. So he
unique.
explained it to me right there. Not
Yeah.
crypto, Bitcoin. Yeah. Unlike that other guy who got mad at me.
Yeah. Well.
Useful, and it's just really high value and insightful content that I recommend universally.
That's not even your channel, and you think so highly of it that you're recommending Bitcoin University, so I'm going to check it out. Thanks, man. What was your name?
Chase.
Tell us what's going on over here. This looks interesting. I see the IV bag.
So we are VitaFlow.
So who does that look like, Ian?
Who does it look like?
Sarah.
Oh, a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Sure.
These two were fun. So this was interesting.
Oh, VitaFlow's here.
Tell us what's going on over here.
Yeah,
This looks
VitaFlow.
interesting. You guys got a VitaFlow?
Yeah, there's one in Atlanta. There's one right near my house. I've gone to it.
See the
before.
IV I got a shot. I got a shot from this shit. V-bag.
So we are VitaFlow. We're an IV therapy business. We hydrate people. So what we do is we do lactated ringers. The great thing about lactated ringers is it's
Did you say lactated ringers? Okay.
That's correct. Is it's filled with all the electrolytes, and it's like drinking 2.5 gallons of water. So you're very well hydrated after getting it.
Yeah.
And then the great thing is we can customize your bag to whatever you're trying to accomplish. So say if you have specific symptoms, say you're sick, like flu-like symptoms, COVID-like symptoms, we could give you vitamin C to help build that immune system up, or zinc. We have people that are hungover, so we have the bag that's called Dead on Arrival, which you're usually dead on arrival if you're hungover. And so the great thing about that is we have Toradol, helps with body aches, headache, anything.
And you
that
said
is
those
bothering
work,
you.
Jake.
We have
Oh, they
Zofran
work.
for nausea and vomiting, and then B12 for a little burst of energy. And let me tell you, it makes night and day difference.
We just got B12 shots, and I'm about to bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid man.
Because you're so excited.
I feel
and the energy
amazing, yes.
And the mental clarity, that's what's really going to get the job
I
done.
did calculus for the first time in my life.
Because it's B12 from VitaFlow, right?
From VitaFlow.
Yeah, so we have 5 different locations in Nashville. We have on Demumbrium, 5th and Broadway,
Josh wanted the
Hendersonville,
full.
Franklin, and Murfreesboro. And
Of
then
course
we
he
do on the
did.
go
Of
as
course
well.
he
So
did.
you
It's
come
like
to our
$300.
hotel
We ain't
and
getting that. You would do
I
the
do
B12.
bachelorette parties, bachelor parties.
How many can I get a day? Can I just get them every hour? Or?
Usually B12 like once a week, not every
'Cause I'll be back in 25 minutes. You guys throw those needles away. Can I keep them? I'd like to sell them as NFTs.
TNUSA.com.
Okay, cool. What do you guys do?
We do tax avoidance. We're a full service tax company.
Oh, I love Hell that. yeah.
But if you
Hell
want to
yeah.
avoid taxes when you
Wait,
cash
what was the
out your
company? Go
Bitcoin,
back. I got to write this down.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I know
A tax
accountant
avoidance
this.
company. Yeah.
Yeah. What was his company name?
And you had a chance to win a bike from this company?
TNUSA.com.
TNUSA.
TNUSA.com.
Okay, cool. What do you guys do?
We do tax avoidance. We're a full service tax company.
Hell yeah.
But if you want to avoid taxes when you cash out your Bitcoin,
We're here at the. I got the card. I can get the website for you if that doesn't.
Already
pull up.
got it. I'm already
All right,
on it.
sweet. Bitcoin trading card booth. Tell us a little bit about what you do. All right, so watch. I call it crypto. This is where I understand now why he didn't get mad at me. I'm just joking about that. He was a nice guy. But I did not know at this point in time that you couldn't use Bitcoin and crypto interchangeably.
So we're doing everything we can to make Bitcoin fun and simple. I think the Bitcoin education out there, it's really difficult when you first get started. This is specifically created to just make it as enjoyable, fun, simple as possible for people to learn about Bitcoin, the importance of freedom, which to me is even more important than Bitcoin. Without freedom, what is Bitcoin? So these cards do a lot of amazing education. Most people are visual learners. And in order to get someone that
It's an
knows
interesting
nothing about any of these
culture
topics
of-
to actually take the
I mean,
time
there's
to want to learn
definitely-
about these topics, you've got to inspire
Trump
them.
selling
You've
the
got to spark
shoes or
them.
something.
Time preference is broken across the board. I've got teenagers. We really have a lot of work to do to get people to take a couple moments and want to actually learn. And art is one of the best ways you're going to get people to take that chance, because that art is going to speak to them like music. And I think being able to visually show them something that hopefully inspires them enough to want to know what that means is really important. And hopefully that art is so great to them that they can flip it over and actually like read the card and learn.
Super cool. What's your website so everybody can check out your work? I started reading his cards
BTC
because I want to do that movie.
cards.com,
I've been
or
looking
you
at
can
all
just
this
look up
stuff.
Bitcoin trading cards. The simplest way.
I have a band called Friends.
So this is the last guy here. This guy was, even this guy who I just thought when I met him was just kind of a crazy guy. I look at him, I'm like, all these people are these huge Bitcoin influencers. It's wild. What did you think of that last guy? Ian, you're an artist. Jake, you're an artist. Like, guys, let's infuse Bitcoin into art.
Sure, I think this is cool. I mean, I'm definitely intrigued. It's interesting how many ways people are trying to get this message out. So I'm definitely intrigued.
There's a commitment there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something about like you didn't even have to go if you're somebody who doesn't, understand Bitcoin and doesn't want to spend money to go to the conference. But if you're happen to be in a city where the conference is happening or nearby, you can just go to the lobby and interact with all these people.
Yeah.
Like the energy and like just the mentality of all these people is kind of unbelievable.
It was a freaking party, man. It was just,
everyone's
was
so happy,
wild.
so optimistic. Like the things you can accomplish. Everybody, it was amazing. And I already bought my tickets for Vegas.
at the party we went to that had the bowls of joints tightly wrapped and all the free high level booze and all the people dancing and the furry. The guy who lived there was like 4 houses. I can't remember the name of the houses, but they have a collective name. I guess they do events there. One of them, he just came over to me and Josh and was like, "You guys okay? You guys need something?" Because he saw we were messing around days, and he brought us bottles of water just for no reason. We didn't ask for it. And of course, I'm going, was the cap open, dude? Did he drug us? No, he was just like, everybody was just being cool. It was like,
Yeah, I feel like it's probably a little unsettling for somebody who thinks everybody's a Fed.
Yes, I did, like, look at all these Feds. Contrary to the Libertarian Conference where everybody was a Fed.
Exactly. Yeah, stark contrast between these two events.
Yeah, the atmosphere certainly was a bit different, but it's definitely made me want to learn more about it because something is.
Now we're gonna figure
I don't know
it out.
so people always say, "What if they turn the grid off?" They're gonna. What happens then?
Well, then you can't mine any more Bitcoin.
You also can't get access to your bank account.
Right, and that's exactly. Yeah, I was reading about that.
And technically speaking, there are companies who allow you to trade satoshis without the use of electronics. So that is the technology that is happening.
So if the grid gets shut off, I think that
They have
our
like an
money is
abacus
pretty much
and
worthless.
Just
Yeah, you got to do math. The best mathematicians are going to be the ones that survive. So this is the last guy.
I gotta get going after this, Brad.
PHRIENDZ. And so, like, we make songs about crypto. I've been paid to get tattoos of just like.
Holy shit, dude!
I got $1,600.
How many do you have?
Oh, this is the start of the crypto ones.
Yeah,
There's
that's
another
cool.
guy here that I know. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he has a bunch of them. He has like
Really?
squid tattoos. He got.
And you get paid to do that.
Yeah.
How much they pay you for a tattoo?
$1,600.
So to market it like that. Wow.
To buy AJM shot caller, and they paid me $550 to make a song for them too.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's cool.
Censored on the internet though.
So, what's the extent you would go when it comes to getting a tattoo if someone offered you the right amount of money?
What I did is I made a diagram of my body on Photoshop, and I like a cow map of the meat, right?
Yeah.
It said, you're gonna have to pay if you want right here, you're talking like $100,000.
Yeah.
Right. Then right here, you got it's cheaper. Like if you wanted to do it like right here or on my whatever.
What about the dong?
What about
The dong,
tramp stamp?
dong, that might feel. I would do the dong probably for $20K.
Probably write a whole paragraph on there.
If I cared about it. If I cared about it.
Less than the forehead,
you're right.
exactly.
Yeah, maybe a whole paragraph.
That is unbelievable.
It's crazy.
The dong is $1 million.
So he went on to tell. We talked to that guy for a while. He went on to say, yeah, and my ex-girlfriend dated George Clooney, and he was a big asshole to her, and so f George Clooney. And then he told us about his event they were having at a pizza place, and then he did a little dance. He showed us a little dance he did, and then he said that he had just, I guess he hadn't seen the recent news about Mr. Beast, because I don't think he would have been bringing up Mr. Beast and how he used to have a song in Mr. Beast. And he's like, Mr. Beast took my song out of his intro because I can't remember. I think he didn't want this guy to try and get money from him. So I can't remember exactly what it was. I don't want to misinterpret what he said, but this guy just had all kind of stories. I don't know how true all of them were, but he was an interesting character. Everybody there was an interesting character. And Jake, I'm glad you told me about that conference, because it's definitely opened my eyes to the different types of businesses and entrepreneurial ventures that people have. And there's going to be a lot of scams with anything.
Of course.
But I don't know. What did you think of all that? I know you were homesick that day.
Yeah, I got to watch a little bit that day of the speeches, but not a lot. Yeah, I mean, I went back and watched a few afterwards. I was invigorated. I was there for a day and a half. And the day I got home from Nashville, I bought tickets to Vegas, which is the conference next year.
Vivek was there. Did you see Russell Brand speak?
We had to leave for dinner before Russell Brand got to speak. But look, the whole RFK Trump speech, like, Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay. RFK came to the Bitcoin conference last year and gave a phenomenal speech. And that was like, he became Bitcoin educated pretty quickly after that, and now holds most of his wealth in Bitcoin.
He's orange.
He practices what he preaches, and he had very specific executive orders that he would put in place as soon as he became president. Obviously, that's not going to happen now, but it was refreshing to see somebody actually know the technology. Exactly. Know what he's talking about. Because like you said, Trump called Bitcoin crypto, which
like,
if you know anything about,
like me,
you know enough about Bitcoin, like you will not call it crypto in front of a bunch.
Well, that's the one thing I know for damn sure.
Yeah.
But that it's like that bridge has to be, you got to fill that bridge. You got to create, like, people need to learn. Like that one guy told me, and there's probably more people that are like me than there are like the Bitcoiners who kind of get it a little bit, but are trying to learn. I found the whole thing to be very interesting. Ian, I know you're skeptical of it, like I am. Any closing thoughts? I know you got to get out of here.
I'm not skeptical. I'm curious. It's just hard to wrap my brain around, and I'm sure if I just dig into it a little bit, I have no context for it. I think there's a whole
you got to mine into it.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of it that just doesn't make sense right now, and I think I have to develop some sort of a context or a framework, and then go, oh, okay, because I can't connect any dots right now. All I see is a guy with a golden tape and a phone, and he's talking about your songs and your money. I can't connect any of this.
That's fair. That's fair. No, yeah. Just go watch a couple videos from Bitcoin Academy and read the Bitcoin Standard, man. Like
this is the movie too. Like, this is part of the movie. Is that attitude?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the beginning portion of you don't understand. I need to learn so we can find this.
It's the same thing with freedom and liberty. Like, you can't force that on people. People are far more inclined to freedom and liberty than they like understand about themselves. But it still takes, you just have to plant a seed and hope that it grows, and then do a little bit of watering all the time. And so like no one's expecting people to get these things right off the bat.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It is. Yeah. So there's definitely, I think, incentive to learn more about it. Thank you guys. Jake, thanks for joining us. Tell everybody where they can find you and when your next show is, and anything else you want to share.
Yeah, go over to peacefulseed.network. That's where all my shows are. I produce a few, I host a few, make some documentaries over there. We're trying to make a couple movies over there. We're launching a Discord for some of our subscribers. So peacefulseed.network. My next show is Thursday night, Liberty Libations, 8 p.m. Eastern, with my 4 other regular co-hosts, I guess we'll call them.
Zach's in the chats. I believe Grumpy was in the chats earlier as well. And you make sure you got a moderator in that Discord so you can not let the feds come in, because that's where the feds like to come. Ian, I love your Twitter handle. You want to tell everybody where to follow you on Twitter?
Yeah, you can check me out, Reginald V. Actor, on X. And that's really where I hang out a lot. Here, there, in this show, and then at work. But with everyone's help, soon maybe I won't have to go to the damn job anymore.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out in the chats. Propagandafight.com, youtube.com/Brad Binkley, Twitter, Freedom Max Radio, and all. Linktree is on the links if you want to help out the show. There are ways to help it out there. And the Great Create is September 25th to 27th. Is that correct?
September 27th to 28th.
28th. Check it out. Go to the website. It'll be a great event. We will talk to you guys next time. Have a fantastic rest of your day. See you guys later.